and welcome to the Branding and Signage Technology podcast under new management. My name is Iris Andrade, and I work on the marketing team with Brian, and this episode we'll be talking about how it's been 1 year since we've started, well, mostly Brian has started, and about trade shows, and they're a big investment, and why they're worth it, or why just come to the show. Starting with that, you started this podcast about a year ago. Can you tell me a little bit why you thought that this was like the next route for our marketing?
Yeah, so podcasts are not going away. They are, if anything, continuing to grow across every vertical, every market, every type of company. So we thought we'd give it a shot, and we get a lot of frequently asked questions and a lot of very unique detailed questions. So I thought it was a good avenue to really lock in and just address some of these common conversations that our team has on a daily basis. And, you know, keeping it short, not your typical podcast that's, 45 minutes to an hour long. Short episodes that you can listen to in the car, on the way to work, on the way home, even sitting at your desk, and just keeping it lighthearted, fully transparent, getting to know our team. That was a big focus for me. Is a lot of you get to talk with our sales team, our install team, our digital team, but there's a lot of people at the hardware company that are not customer facing necessarily. So bringing them in just to hear their perspectives, get to know their expertise, get to know them on a personal human level, what they do outside of work, what are their hobbies, interests. That's why I kind of always ask the fun question at the end. But yeah, I thought it would be a good alternative to the other content pieces that we share.
When you're coming up with like podcast ideas and all that stuff, like how do you where do you come up with ideas, and what do you think is worth it versus maybe not?
Well, it's mostly thinking about what the end user wants to hear, and not something that sounds boring off the tongue. I mean, I don't want to talk about something that's boring off the tongue. It gets very psychological, really. From a marketing perspective, I always say, if I studied marketing in college, but if I were to double major with anything, psychology would also be one interesting route. Because not only, yes, branding, signage, how can you be better with it? How do you sell more with it? But how do you actually get into the mind of the consumer, what they want to see, how they act in the drive-through, at the counter inside? So kind of getting to their mind a little bit. I've enjoyed every episode we've done, but one that really stands out is how generations act differently at restaurants, and how they prefer the quality of the food, if they rank that the highest, if they rank price the highest, the atmosphere the highest, the service the highest, and how each of you and every brand needs to really hone in on those generations and how they behave, especially as we get more technologically advanced with kiosks, voice AI. There's people that don't want to do that. They want to talk to a human. So, we know it's tough for all of you to continuously find ways to be innovative and reach the customer how they want to be reached. So we have a very smart team here that everybody has different thoughts, and again, depending on their role, it's just good to talk with them and get an understanding of how they think psychologically too when it's helping a customer. So
yeah, I feel like one thing that has really helped me transitioning from like design to marketing is that I got to really work with the product and the customers. So like it has helped me kind of get more in the mindset of like what our customers are looking for and what they need and like troubles, especially with how fast technology is advancing and AI and
Yeah.
everything. Like it gave me some really good insight, especially talking to them on a daily basis and just hearing things. Like that's partially why like
Yeah.
with the menu system that we're going to be launching at NRA came because I talked to so many people who like having static or printed menu systems, but
Yep.
they want more of that, but they need more digital flexibility. So like it
Yeah.
kind of like I feel like has helped, and like that's one of the things I think is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. The last time you were on the podcast, you were a designer.
Yes.
So yeah, she's transitioned to our marketing team, which, as you mentioned, and has really helped us, is understanding more of how the customer behaves and what our operators that we work with are seeing too. But yeah, I think to go to your point, it's, it's, as an example, it's a thing um, like when we talk with our designers, it might be visually appealing to have a picture for each of your menu items, but to the consumer, understanding, well, you don't need all those images, it crowds the menu board, really diving deep into
Can be
the pros and
overwhelming.
cons behind it, rather than just being like, oh, people love pictures, let's just put all our pictures on the menu.
Yes. Yeah. So, how many trade shows do you think you've planned?
Well, NRA wise, this will be the first 2 years it was canceled because of COVID. So this will probably be my fourth NRA. And then I would say with other shows combined, we're probably approaching or have passed double digits. But yeah, we have the National Restaurant Show. We've been exhibiting at NACS, the convenience store show. MERTEC the past couple of years, the multi-unit restaurant technology show. FS Tech we've done before. We exhibit at many of our customers' shows. Yeah, I'm sure there's ones I'm forgetting about, but there's been a lot.
I feel like ever since I started here, it's always trade shows, trade show, trade shows. Brian's doing this, Brian's doing that. Like, what do you think that you have most like learned from like doing this? And did you think you would be doing all of these trade shows when you first like applied here?
Not necessarily, but I've always enjoyed event marketing. I like planning the physical show. I like attending and interacting with customers and just listening in on conversations. As a marketer, you always keep your mind open as far as what the customer's saying, how they're behaving, what they take notice to in a booth, and then the post-show marketing as well. So I've always liked that entire process. I really have enjoyed taking on trade shows and managing them. It helps a lot with time management and project managing, and behind the scenes there's a bunch of people that help with this. I just kind of put it all together and make it look pretty. So it's always a great experience, though. Every show is different, which is challenging, and every year it changes, which is challenging. But the reason why I love NRA so much and look forward to it is I don't feel like the warm season starts until NRA. When we're in Chicago, spring is starting to happen, and it's kind of like a sense of, yes, we attend MERTEC in March. We attend, some of our leadership attends the Restaurant Leadership Conference this past month, and just some other ones kind of in the dead of winter, early spring. But I kind of feel like everybody is breaking out of their shell. Everybody's breaking out of the cold climate, or at least we are here in Wisconsin. And they get to the show, and it's good to see everybody. It's good to have those conversations every year. What you're looking forward to in 2026, what are your goals, opportunity, pain points. And then, like I said, it's awesome seeing the vision of the booth come to life. Friday afternoon, walking in Saturday morning when the show starts. Because I have realized with trade shows that I feel like I'm a perfectionist. Hmm. I feel like every square foot of the booth is thought out, and placement and angle and design, and kind of going back to what we were talking about with podcast topics, like what you all want to see, what you're thinking when you're attending the show. You're attending the show for a reason, whether you're just in the research phase of trying to figure out what's next as far as your operations go, or you're ready to buy something and you're looking for a specific solution that you can implement in the next few months. So you're all there for something. It's gathering each of those stages of the customer journey and displaying it in a 400 square foot booth.
So trade shows, they're an investment for the company. Mm-hmm. They're not cheap. They take a lot of time. So why would a company choose to either like invest in like a trade show like NRA? Like, what do you think like the selling point? Like, what do you get out of it? Like, what's the mindset that should be like going into deciding, should we invest in showing our business here, or should we walk the booth versus, not being a part of it all, just focusing on our digital marketing?
Yeah. Well, there's a few different reasons. I would say one of the bigger ones is it really saves the time and money of our salespeople traveling all over the place. And our sales team can happily travel to headquarters all throughout the country. But when everybody around the country is visiting one central location, it's great to have those conversations in one place. Yes, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of budgeting. But again, I feel like if you don't have those conversations at the show, if you're not exhibiting at the show, it's kind of left as a mystery as to what could have happened. One of the things for us too is being a exhibitor is, we have a great spot at the show. So the moment we decide not to do it, we probably wind up in the back. And also with a lot of these shows is our competitors are there. So we want to be in a place where, they're at and talking to customers as well. So, and then I think also, it's not just the show. There's a lot of after show events and happy hours that we've learned to, Gary and I have learned to really capitalize on, as far as, hey, we're not just, if we're spending a lot of our time in Chicago for a week and sending a lot of our team there, let's use the time wisely, not just for the show, but is there ways to communicate with customers in the evenings or during the show, like meetings up in the conference rooms or something. So
and building partnerships too, like relationships, and I think that's really like beneficial too when we're there.
Yeah.
Because like being able to integrate with other companies and all that stuff, it's one thing that I feel like helps technology, especially on that aspect, having minds kind of come together and see what you can do together to follow that next step into the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think going off of that, like our digital team, many of them go, some of them go to help us set up. Some of them are there at the show. But like you said, there's a lot of new technology out there. So it's good for them to continue to learn what's out there, what solutions we can provide, partner with. Because again, we're an integrator. So this year in the booth, we're going to have multiple different partners, not necessarily in person, but software companies, hardware companies, kiosk companies, integrated within our booth. So you'll see a bunch of different solutions. But so it's good for our team to see how the industry is doing. Another reason why it's great to do these shows or any trade show is you don't want to get caught up between the operator and us being the supplier or the partner. You don't want to get caught up in just project emails and email threads about installs and what's working, what's not working. You want to have just those check-ins, those moments throughout the year where you can actually connect with your sales rep, with our leadership, our VP and our president CEO will both be at NRA, so you'll have a chance to talk with them there. So, and selfishly, like myself, I don't really talk to many customers throughout the year, and it's fun to have those conversations at the show and just experience that side of it.
I think it also helps us, especially with like how AI has taken off. Like marketing is harder. It's harder to get leads. It's harder to like really like stand out to competitors. But if you're actually there in person and able to like visually make that connection, I think that like stands out a lot more too.
Yeah.
For a company that would be thinking about doing a trade show for their first time, like what advice would you give them, or like what is something that you learned like from your first time to now that you wish you really knew? Like,
there's a lot that goes into the planning. Even if you have a 10 by 10 booth, I think that a lot of these shows do a good job of having a checklist of things that need to get done by a certain date, but it takes longer than you expect. Every year it doesn't seem to get shorter. I usually start the whole planning process around Thanksgiving. So it takes up a bunch of time, but I don't know what real first advice other than plan for more time than what you think. Don't put way too much stuff in the booth. Don't try and show everything that you could possibly do. There's been at least a year where we've done that and we come back and we're like, let's make it way less crowded.
Hours less.
Yeah. You really have to think about the customer experience in the booth. It's keep it simple, keep it efficient. Every year you'll find ways to do it better. But if people on your team are open to helping out, I would say lean on them. I lean on a bunch of people to make this all happen. So, and I'm trying to think as far as restaurant shows go, like your own operating shows. Obviously, there's a different kind of mindset that goes into those because a lot of franchisees would be visiting those shows. And, if we went to one of our customer shows, we're probably the main menu board supplier. Like they don't have to look at our competition and whatnot. So it's making the experience best for your franchisees, while also making the exhibitors feel like part of the family. And again, having that connection that, hey, every day of the year, we work on sending orders to your franchisees, but finding that connect where, hey, this is so-and-so from Florida. They own 5 stores, oversee 5 stores. Hey, let's get to know them some more, rather than, hey, here's your menu board and go on their way. Not making a one-time transaction, of really making that connection.
So, like, how do you decide what products should go in there? Because we sell a lot of stuff. How do you decide, like, okay, yeah, we definitely want to show this. Like, obviously you want to find something unique every single time to show it.
Yeah.
But, like, how do you decide?
Yeah, and to start with that, and kind of goes back to a suggestion for anybody that's starting out, or currently doing shows, but you don't want to show too many crazy new showstoppers at once. Because if you show too many solutions that you currently don't provide, that's going to be a little confusing for the visitors who come to your booth. So at NRA, we try and keep it to one or two new crazy things where they'll catch the person's attention and maybe draw them into the booth. As far as what to show in the booth, if there's ways you can, well, it depends on the size of your products and how vast your product category is. But for instance, like we'll have a lot of digital displays and we'll show a lot of our products and services on those displays instead of showing it in person. So for instance, Kelsey, our camera lady, she works on the culture the video wall displays every year. And this year she made some big modifications to it because it just needed to be updated. And, she really talks about our core values and the different services we provide, which you cannot see at the booth, but installation, design, content management,
customer engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stuff you can't see in person at NRA. So, and then also some of the bigger things that we're not going to display at NRA because it's a hassle. Canopies, clearance bars. This year we will have a triple digital drive-through. Finding ways to show that in the booth without, again, not being very overwhelmed is good. But I would just hit on making sure your main thing gets across. Kind of a funny backstory, but when I first started planning NRA and attending, the two biggest things that I would constantly hear and trying to figure out a way to make this better, which sometimes you just can't. But the first is we would have everything in the booth up, showing what we do, whatever. Somebody would come up to the booth. So what do you guys do? Now, that's partially on us and partially them just not knowing. So telling that story better, we've learned over the years how to do that. We don't really get that question anymore. And then the other one is we have a 10 by 40 foot booth, but we usually like to kind of split it in a way where we show outdoor solutions and indoor solutions because we offer the best of both worlds. So we've had people come up and be like, oh, so are you guys two different booths? Or are you one booth? And there's some confusion there. So we've been trying to make ways we can show that story as well better. As I mentioned earlier, don't show everything and at least get the main message of what you're trying to convey out there somehow. What you hope for is somebody approaches you and then you can talk about the stuff you do and how you can help that person.
So we get them into the booth and you have the conversations, the sales conversations, all that stuff. How do you keep the momentum from dying after the show?
Yeah, so it is tricky, and it's making sure that, well, first of all, that the team working the booth is scanning badges, putting correct notes in about what people are actually interested in, because it speeds up that process later on. And I think that's the biggest thing is, your team at some point is going to reach out, or you hope that it reach out. But if you can start by saying, hey, we talked about kiosks at NRA, and you mentioned you liked the LG kiosk. Let's start talking about your strategy for it, giving you some pricing, rather than, hey, thanks for stopping by the show, which is definitely important to say. But the point is not being like, hey, let's continue the conversation, and just keeping it broad.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you can speed up the segmentation after the show for that specific content is the best plan that you can have. And again, that falls on marketing, sales, coming up with ways to have segmentation and respond in a timely manner. The difficult part about NRA is Memorial Day weekend is right after. So some people attend the show, they'll travel back home, but they might not be in the office for, 3 to 5 days after NRA. The day that you stop by the booth, scan your badge, we want to continue that conversation. And if you want to continue that conversation for the remaining days of the show, we want to invite you back. If you saw everything you need to, but you're in town for one more day attending another day of the show, stop by. Let's have a more in-depth conversation. Our sales team could probably get you some pricing on the spot. We can start strategizing how you want to move this project along. So we want to be more proactive this way. And I think that helps you as the restaurant operators that are attending the show get the most out of the show. It's not just you walking around and grabbing a bunch of freebies, grabbing flyers, connecting with people you haven't seen in a while. It's if you have a mission for the show, especially, and you're like, we need some new signage. You stop by the show on Saturday, you have that initial conversation. We invite you back Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday to have a more in-depth conversation, show you different solutions that might not even be in the booth, but our team would be happy to show you all that. So,
yeah. One thing about NRA is that it can be really overwhelming. There's so much food, so much things to do, and it's just a lot everywhere.
Yeah.
When you're planning a booth, how do you even think about how are we gonna stand out to everyone? There's so much. How are we gonna be remembered? Because a person who goes through there, I remember the last year I went. I remember a few, but most of it's just a blur.
Yeah.
That week. Yeah.
Well, I would say from a marketing perspective, to get people to remember your booth is in those pre-show, during show, after show conversation, emails, social media posts, whatever it is, include pictures of your booth.
Yeah.
So their memory goes back to that moment. So they're not just the Howard Company, what did their booth look like? I know I met up with a bunch of companies that talked about drive-through digital signage, but if there's no picture, they can't really tie it back. So, but as far as standing out, we are very fortunate to have a great spot. Our company has been exhibiting at NRA for a long time.
Are we next to Coke or something like that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We're by Coca-Cola. But you can see at least part of our booth as you're walking through the entrance. So over the years, I've been working with our designers to come up with ways where, hey, you see our booth, we see you. We see exactly where you're at. We see when you're standing in line at Coca-Cola.
A little creepy.
Yeah, it is. Marketing is a little creepy. We see you standing in line waiting for Coca-Cola. We want to grab your attention any way we can. And again, Kelsey's been a big part of making all that happen. So we have a few fun surprise designs this year that I can't wait to see how they show. But I don't know. It's very heavy on location as far as standing out, and but even if not, it kind of goes back to, again, I'm going to make a alignment with many borders. It's don't have too many images of your stuff. Don't have crazy colors that don't even align. Again, you want to capture the eyes of the people visiting. You don't want to be boring. but you don't want to be crazy where it's like
overwhelming.
Yeah, it's overwhelming or unprofessional. So, and the other challenge going with that is staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah, thinking about the future, like.
And so, like me as the marketer and the person that plans the vision behind it, it's I'll walk the show entirely, probably a few times, and I'll stop by our competitors. I'll stop by just random people's booths, and
I thought you just brought just for the food.
Well, the food is great, but just to get little pieces of ideas. I mean, being a person that works in a digital company, I'll selfishly, I'll go by a booth and be like, I think ours is better than that. Ours is better than that. But one that blew me away probably 2 years ago was Heinz and the ketchup company, the mustard. They obviously a bunch of different condiments, but they had like a digital ketchup bottle, and it would change different condiments every couple of seconds. So that brought me into the booth. I didn't even see the rest of the booth because it was massive. I didn't see the rest of the booth before that. I saw the bottle, brings you in. They had a bunch of different areas to try stuff or experience stuff. They had custom ketchup bottles. Thought that was really neat, but
oh yeah, is that the time when, so I used to be really obsessed with ketchup and like putting ketchup on everything. Is that the time when you guys brought back what
Kelsey got you a custom?
It had my name on it. Yeah, I haven't opened it yet.
I think they still do that.
Yeah.
At least they did that last year. Hello everyone. Today's episode was so special that it ran a little longer than what we usually plan for. So there will be a part 2 coming up. Just wanted to quickly say thank you to everyone who has listened to an episode or more in this first year that we've had the Branding, Science, and Technology podcast. It's been a great experience, again, to sit with many of our team members. We have a lot new faces coming into the frame in year 2, as well as customers, partners of ours. So definitely looking forward to that. I also want to thank Iris for hosting her first podcast episode. She did a great job taking on that challenge. It's not easy. I also want to thank our entire team that has helped us prepare for the National Restaurant Show coming up here in Chicago. We hope to see you there. We're going to have a 400 square foot booth, as always, at 5401 in the South Building, with a bunch of our products and services on display, and with many of our team members there to answer any of the questions that you have. Stay tuned for part 2 in a week or two. And until next time, thank you again and goodbye.